In this video, we're going to talk about this is not a crisis. Now, I know it feels like a crisis, let me just say. I talk to so many people throughout the day who are just, in that state of fear and anxiety, and just our brain goes nuts with like, what if this, what if that? And it just puts us into a tailspin, which is not a good place for you to be. And so we feel like everything is a crisis. If you like this content and you find it helpful, don't forget to hit like on this video. Also, subscribe to the channel so that you get notified as new videos are released. When it's us going through this and it's our children, this definitely feels like a crisis. And as a parent, your natural inclination is to want to protect your children. So to the extent that you feel like you can't do that, it's going to create anxiety. And to the extent that you're also worried about the impact on you, right? When we come out of these toxic relationships, we're conditioned to try to please that other person, right? Lest they be angry, or lest they retaliate in some way, or lest they take it out on the children, or whatever the thing is that you're worried about. And so we start shaping our behavior accordingly during the relationship. Well, you come out of that and you don't necessarily need to do that anymore, but it's usually where we all live, at least in the beginning. And it takes some time to really cut that tie. And so what happens is when that rears its ugly head, we kind of go into panic mode and we go, oh no, they're going to be mean to the kid, or they're going to, file something in court, or they're going to, whatever the thing is that we're worried about that they're going to do. I know that they're going to do those things and make threats. And I know that that's going to be uncomfortable for you. What I want you to do in that moment is to create some kind of image in your brain that you can pull up. Maybe it's a red stop sign, whatever the thing is for you that just kind of will pull you out of your normal trajectory, okay? To where you can go, wait a minute, okay, I'm feeling that fear and I'm going into that mode again. Because when we get in that mode where we're like, oh no, what's going to happen? And we're stressed and we're feeling like it's crisis, then we're off center emotionally, right? And which means we're easier to manipulate, which is what your narcissistic or high conflict ex is going for, sort of pushing you off balance so that they can have the upper hand emotionally. That's where a lot of their control comes from. And, I will tell you that a lot of times the threats and all the different things, they don't even follow through on a lot of the time. Okay. It's just, or they'll say, oh, I have an attorney. Okay. You have an attorney, but you haven't even given the person's name or, any information, no, nothing. Oh, but you have an attorney. That's a threat, right? Or I'm going to file in court. I mean, that's a threat. If they're going to file in court, then you'll get a piece of paper and then you'll know, right? But what they're trying to do is to send you into a tailspin so that you're operating from that crisis mode, because it's part of that continued emotional control of you after the relationship, okay? So you have to get your brain to where when you start heading into that tailspin, that stop sign, that whatever it is that you can pull up stops you to where you go, okay, wait a minute. What's the worst thing that can happen here? Okay. And honestly, sometimes there are things that could happen that are not good, right? Are not pleasant, that we don't want to see happen. I have people say things to me like, well, I'm afraid that during their parenting time, they're going to be mean to the child. Okay, that sucks. I get it. But you know what? Number one, you can't control that. That's the first thing to ask yourself. Can I even control this? Probably not. 99.9% of things you really can't control. The only thing you can control is yourself. So most of what that other person's trying to manipulate, you can't even control. You have convinced yourself that if you stress about it enough and you're anxious about it enough and you think about it enough and you overthink and you process and you do all these things, that somehow that gives you the illusion of having some control over it. Doesn't give you any control in reality. Okay. And it gives you increased stress and anxiety. If that parent is going to be mean to the other to your child in their world, they're going to do that regardless. And here's the thing. We live under this illusion that our behavior impacts that. It really doesn't. If they're going to treat your child that way, I mean, they're their parent too. If they're really willing to treat your child in those certain ways, they're going to do it no matter what you do, whether you choose door A, door B, or door C. And I see so many clients that spend so much time trying to anticipate that and go, oh, which door is the door that I can choose that's going to cause this thing not to happen? There isn't one. Okay, they're just going to change how they're twisting it, or they're going to change how they're manipulating it, or they're going to change what they're bullying you with. It's not going to stop the behavior. And the other thing I will tell you about them being mean to the child in particular is that over time, that child is going to find their voice, right? And that's going to do damage to the relationship that the other parent has with the child. And the child is eventually going to go, I don't want to see that parent. I don't want to go. I don't want to do this. Okay. Children are smart. They know when you actually care about them and show up for them in their life and when you don't. When we go into crisis mode, we become very reactive, which is a very bad thing in the court. Because when someone is bullying and the other person is reacting, they see both of you as the problem. Okay. I've talked about this recently in a previous episode where it's like, you want to paint the contrast, right? That's your goal, to paint the contrast between the way you behave and the way the other person behaves. So if you can just go, okay, can I control this? If the answer is no, then the answer is no. And that's your first clue to let it go. Okay. Does it suck? Do I hate it? Is it bad? Yeah, it might be. But at the end of the day, can I control it? No. Then me sitting around wringing my hands about it does nothing. Doesn't help me. It doesn't help the child. Doesn't help the situation. Doesn't help anything. It just creates more stress and anxiety. And the other thing is a lot of times when these types of things are happening, I will say to people, look, either way, you're going to get something out of this. And people are like, Tammy, I don't understand that. And it's like, okay, let's take a parent who's on supervised visitation. All right. And let's say the parent that has the regular parenting time is being uncooperative about coordinating the visitation times or whatever it is. And maybe you're worried that like, oh my goodness, it's the child's birthday on, Monday, and I'm not going to get to see the child because I believe the other parent's going to withhold or do something or manipulate to keep me from, okay, look, not getting to see your child on their birthday, that stinks a little bit, right? It really does as a parent. So one of two things is going to happen when you look at this situation. Either the visitation will happen and you'll get to see your child on their birthday, which is fantastic, right? Or the visitation won't happen because of something the other parent did, but you stayed calm, you didn't react, and now you can say to the court, Your Honor, this person didn't even let me see the child on the child's birthday. Now I've got a leverage point, right? Now the court's going, what's wrong with you that you didn't let the other parent, I see this with Mother's Day and Father's Day a lot. I've had this come up over and over in, cases over the years where one parent will be like, oh no, you can't see them. We already have plans for that day with my mother or father or whatever the thing is. And I mean, I remember one of my late husband's cases. He had mom and dad came into town for the hearing actually the following week. And it happened to be Father's Day weekend, the weekend before. And she said to him, he said, hey, I'm going to be there for Father's Day weekend since we have court. Can I see our daughter, who was 3 at the time? And she said, well, no, we already have plans with my dad. And the court stood and she stood in court and next to Thomas. And I remember the judge just reaming her out because it was like, what's wrong with you? It's Father's Day. Like who with their right mind doesn't like it's Father's Day? The father gets the child. Mother's Day, the mother gets the child, right? That's the one day out of the year just about it that is not in dispute. All the other holidays we might dispute. Mother's Day, Father's Day, that's the way it goes. End of story. It is not a crisis in the way that we're thinking about it. It feels like a crisis to us because it's an outcome we don't want. All right. But that outcome is going to result in one of two things for you. Either it's going to happen and you're going to be happy that it happened, or it's not going to happen and it's going to give you another little nugget for you to go into court and show this parent's lack of cooperation, their lack of support of your parenting, whatever the issue is, it gives you more of that pattern of behavior. So it's really a win either way. And when you can start to get your mind in that mode, a lot of this stress and anxiety will start to go away for you. So if you'd like to learn more of these kinds of techniques or get help with these types of situations, you can go to divorceuniversityonline.com/VIP-coaching. There's information on that page on my group coaching programs for moms and for dads. And there's also information on my premium one-on-one coaching services, my VIP program. If you're at the very beginning or you just it's going to be a very long road or you got a lot of complicating factors, you might want to check that out. And thanks for joining me. I'll see you guys next time.